So on May 20th, 2014, I received a warning for posting a thread talking about the topic of adoption and having a child on Roblox. And I don't mean like having a child and adopting in real life. I meant games that involve adoption and having a baby on Roblox. See, having a baby on Roblox, that's considered adult content, because in order to have a baby, you have to do this. But adoption, for some reason, doesn't matter to Roblox because they don't consider that to be adult content. Now, the reason I posted this thread was because I saw a game on the front page where basically it was entitled "Build a Dream Home and Adopt a Baby," and that didn't sound off any alarm to Roblox. But Julius Cole making a game entitled "Have a Beautiful Family" in the town of Roblox, ticks them off. And I'm not here to support Julius Cole because both of these games right here should be considered adult content. But Julius Cole's game, he was banned for making nasty sex places according to him. The only thing I saw in that title was "Have a Beautiful Family." So I've seen family RP games up on the front page multiple times, so it's not family. So it must have been that he said "Have a Beautiful Family." So if a beautiful family ticks off Roblox, how come adoption doesn't tick them off? And that's basically what I posted in the thread. Creating a baby on Roblox doesn't matter, but adopting a baby is okay. And I said, what type of messed up website are you running here, Roblox? And before that thread was removed, because I guess Roblox couldn't take the heat, somebody had posted a comment on that. And I'm not going after them. And this is what they said, and I'll agree with them. Adoption doesn't involve doing it, which Roblox believes is appropriate for kids. Yes, adoption doesn't directly link to having a kid. You're adopting a kid, you're not having a kid, you're not birthing one. But how did that kid come into the world? And that's not adult to you? You don't want to associate yourself with sex and adult content, but how the fuck did that kid come into adoption? How did he get into the world? He came in through sex. And why would they just, adoption, that's very controversial too. It's not as controversial as many other things out there, but you have two people having sex in order to make a kid, and then them making a choice to give it up for adoption. That's pretty fucking adult. But that doesn't ring any bells. The whole concept of adoption doesn't seem to bother you, but the notion of having a baby does. So, from his comment, I decided, alright, since this thread was removed and I couldn't reply to him, I'll decide to post another one. And the title of it was Sigh, and then I put down below, adoption on Roblox is okay, even though adoption requires a kid to be conceived, basically what I just said, and creating a baby on Roblox is bad. And making a thread on the topic gets your content deleted, and I put in before deletion. And yes, I'm aware I forgot to put an E in deletion. Come after me, grammar Nazis. So, that thread was later then removed, but I had a few replies from people, one of them not understanding what the fuck was going on, and I had to refer them to the front page, another one saying that the fact that my previous one was deleted, that I shouldn't even repost this. Even though I changed it up a bit, I shouldn't repost it, because ATR is no longer ATR, because ATR stands for All Things Roblox. But it's not All Things Roblox, alright? I'm not saying you should be able to go off topic on it, but the amount of rules that they have on there just limits the shit that you can talk about, alright? I agree with, don't spam shit, don't talk about, groups and clans on here, don't online date, however the fuck that's possible, stuff like that. But then you start getting into stuff like, don't post your personal arguments here. And basically, a personal argument could be anything you disagree with. So if you don't like something on Roblox, you couldn't talk about it on All Things Roblox. And going to suggestions, like if you didn't like an update and you went to suggestions, there was a thread that had over 1 million views and 11,000 replies, and that got content deleted. For what reason, though? Nobody knows, because no admin, when they decided to content delete it, they didn't leave a message and they left the thing open. That's it. So nobody knows what the actual thread was, but I can only assume it was from the price floor according to the comments. But anybody else who went to the thread and they couldn't see what the owner had originally wrote, that managed to get it up to 11,000, replies and 1 million fucking views. But that was content deleted. There was no statement issued by a moderator, and they left it open to discussion. Because anybody who went to that thread would obviously know what they're talking about when they can't read what the actual thing was. So ATR isn't really what it used to be. So shortly after that post, it was content deleted. It actually stayed up longer than the first one for some reason. And after a few replies and it started dying down, then they decided to remove it. And then I received a warning. Our content monitors have determined that your behavior on Roblox has been in violation of our terms of service. We will terminate your account if you do not abide by the rules. Moderator note, do not talk about inappropriate topics on Roblox. So the fact that I mentioned making a baby on Roblox, that's inappropriate to you. But adoption, once again, that's not inappropriate. Even though it requires this to go on. So, this is offensive to them. Making a baby is bad, but adopting it is okay. And I put a question. I wasn't saying that making a baby is bad, but adopting one is okay. I wasn't saying that. I was posing a question to them. I wasn't saying that I think making a baby is bad, and adopting one is okay. I put a question mark there. So how is that offensive to anyone? How does that get, Roblox's panties in a notch? Offensive item. Reason inappropriate. What kind of messed up website are you running, Roblox? Yes, once again, they get their panties in a notch over something like that. Oh, wow. You guys are worse than Julius Cole when it comes to criticism, actually. Another one, offensive item. Making a baby is bad, but adopting it is okay. What kind of messed up website are you running? That's the entire thread itself. Alright, the entire thread itself is offensive to Roblox. And then the last one, my second post, adoption on Roblox is okay. This is stating facts right here, because if it wasn't okay, why is that game up on the front page? Even though it requires adoption requires the kid to be, creating a baby on Roblox is bad, which is another fact, because you don't see any of those games up on the front page. Have a baby. You don't see those up on the front page. You don't see a woman in the hospital giving birth. And simply making a topic about it gets the content deleted, which is another fact. Because, see, it's a fact because both of these threads were removed. And then I have to agree to it and reactivate my account. So, isn't that fucking lovely, everybody? See, adoption is allowed, and that's not considered adult. Creating a baby is considered, doing something adult on Roblox. Even though adoption requires you to make a baby first, and simply talking about it gets your thread's content deleted on a thread or a forum entitled All Things Roblox. But it's not All Things Roblox anymore. Just go look at the rules, as I've already stated. And I don't want to turn this into some sort of giant fucking flame war. I'm here to point out to Roblox that you're messed up when it comes to this. Because, you think that making a baby is too adult. But adoption isn't? Adoption is adding on to making a baby. It's actually adding on to it. It's making it worse, actually. Because you have, as I've said this 5 times now, first you have to conceive a child, and then you have to give it up for adoption, which can be pretty stressful at times. So it even gets even more adult. But let's briefly go over their adult content. This is what they consider to be adult content. Roblox is a place to come, build, hang out, and enjoy. Adult-rated content or subject matter is not permitted. Once again, adoption isn't, according to them. Do not create or upload any images, videos, audio files, or other content discuss topics or use language that is sexually explicit or pornographic. Oh, I'm sorry, because I talked about this when it comes to adoption, that obviously makes it adult content. Do not create or upload images, videos, audio files, or others content, discuss topics, or use language that is reasonable person would consider to be mature nature and not appropriate for Roblox audiences, including drugs, alcohol, tobacco, and tobacco. Online dating is not permitted. Roblox is not a dating website. Gee, alright, what does a title, build a dream home and adopt a baby, tell to online daters? You know, does that shoo online daters away? No, it's a giant invitation for them to come on there. What's the other one? Do not create or upload videos and audio files or other content, discuss topics, or, so I can't discuss that, but people can post, games, that are, pretty, mature subject matter. They can post, games with that, but I can't discuss that, according to Roblox. And then, they don't even bother to tell me where to review the terms of service. They just say, go review the terms of service and the guidelines. I have reviewed it, and I honestly don't see what's wrong with my comment. It's not really a personal attack on the person who made the game, and yes, I'm talking about sex. Boo fucking who. I'm sure a lot of kids on your website already know what sex is. They probably don't know what adoption is, though, because, well, it's adoption. Their parents probably haven't told them about that. Anyway, I'm Close Productions, and thank you for watching.